Good, happy Thursday evening, October 29, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday evening, so let's begin. But first, we begin with the storm watch. I hear there could be some snow for New Hampshire for tomorrow. Let's go to meteorologist Kevin Skruppa from WMUR News 9 with the weather details about possible snow coming to New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video.
Meteorologist Kevin Skruppa with your Storm Watch 9 forecast.
As we mentioned off the top, the U.S. Drought Monitor is updated every Thursday morning, and it takes the rainfall from last Tuesday to this Tuesday. So what we saw as we went through the day yesterday, not really accounted for. Not much change to the Drought Monitor, and that probably to a lot of folks seems a bit surprising. But two things to mention here. First is, this is 4 or 5 months to get to the drought that we are currently in. It is a longer-term situation, and not 1 or 2 rainfalls going to take care of it. Also, we generally average about a half inch to 2/3 of an inch of rain a week. We need to go above that every week to really make a dent in the drought. So we look for rainfall, and we are watching the rainfall on the doorstep headed our direction. 40s this afternoon, 40s to lower 50s. This is the 5th straight day where temperatures have been below the average for this time of year. We're at 46 right now with a dew point of 42. Winds light out of the northeast. Eventually, a draining, cooler breeze coming out of Canada will eventually switch over this rain as it continues to lift northward this afternoon into a mix, and then eventually light snow. That colder air will eventually change over that rain to snow from north to south later on tonight. So here comes the steadier rain, which is going to be around for the evening commute. Going to be kind of a sloppy evening commute. A lot of this, the remnants of Zeta, continuing to make its way toward the east and northeast, and will be passing to our south with an upper level system behind it for later tonight and early tomorrow. Lower and mid 40s for most out there this afternoon. Here comes the rainfall building in. You'll notice by late in the day we start to mix up in elevation and farther north. Notice the temperatures cooling off this evening, and that rain snow line dives a little bit farther south by midnight, and eventually for central and southern areas, a few hours of wet snow first thing tomorrow morning. Temperatures will likely be near the freezing mark, so there could be some slippery spots out there early. As far as accumulation is concerned, a general 1 to 3 inches for central and southern areas away from the coastline. Could be a little bit more up in elevation in western New Hampshire. Skies clear tomorrow afternoon with temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s. That's probably going to melt off a lot of any sort of accumulation we do have on a lot of the grassy areas. And then notice the temperatures by early Saturday morning. Both days this weekend, temperatures will be down into the 20s, while each afternoon we will be in the 40s for Saturday with a light wind and sunshine, and back into the mid-40s to mid-50s with increasing clouds Sunday. Looks like with that, we will have the chance of a couple of passing showers later in the day. So as I mentioned, anywhere from central and southern New Hampshire away from the coastline, a quick 1 to 3 inches. A lot of this in the grassy areas with a little bit more as you get up in the terrain in western New Hampshire. There's a look at your 7-day forecast, and we're talking low and mid-40s after a cold start Saturday, and even milder for Sunday before we drop again early next week after a couple of mixed showers Sunday night and early Monday.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report from meteorologist Kevin Skruppa. And here is what meteorologist Eric Wiglar is saying. Confidence is increasing for a brief burst of moderate wet snow for Friday morning commute, particularly in southeast New Hampshire away from the seacoast. Timing from 7 to 8 a.m. Friday. Main roadways US 3 Everett Turnpike from Merrimack south to Nashua I-93, from Londonderry to southeast to Salem, and Route 111 from Hudson northeast to Hampstead. Hazardous, low visibility, particularly snow-covered and grassy in road surfaces, as you can see on the maps right here. And we will be sure to keep you updated on the weather situation in the morning for our morning broadcast. And now let's begin with COVID-19 updates. Let's take a look at COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. And here is a look at that information for all of you right now. There are 10,641 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 8,836,861 number of people in the United States have tested positive. 478 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 775 number of people have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 409 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. Let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. In Manchester, 122. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 2405. And now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple. Daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In orange, new hospitalization. In red, deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple. Total current COVID-19 cases. And in the orange, current hospitalization. Let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases in the purple. Total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalization. Red, deaths. And blue, recovered. And let's take a look at this chart here. Positive PCR test rate and daily PCR test. And let's take a look at this chart here. Age group of cases, female and male of cases, and risk information. Let's take a look at this chart here. Infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And a reminder, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, difficult breathing, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. For more COVID-19 deaths announced as community transmission increases, health officials say. Rate of infections up while hospitalizations remain low. 4 more Granite Staters have died of COVID-19 and community spread of the coronavirus is increasing, health officials said Thursday. The 4 people who died were residents of long-term care centers, said state epidemiologist Dr. Benjamin Chan. There have been 482 deaths associated with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. Chan announced 131 new cases of COVID-19 on Tuesday. He said the state has been averaging about 110 cases per day over the past week, an increase over previous weeks. The rate of infection is also up in New Hampshire at 96.5 cases per 100,000 population over the past 14 days. Chan said there are 1,106 active cases of coronavirus infection, an increase over the last week. He said the state's test positivity rate remains low, around 1%. There were also no new hospitalizations announced Tuesday. Chan said 30 people are currently hospitalized in the state for COVID-19. Chan said that while hospitalizations and death from COVID-19 remain low in New Hampshire, it's apparent that community transmission is increasing. Substantial spread of the virus is being seen in Hillsborough, Rockingham, and Merrimack counties. The increasing community transmission of the virus means that no long-term care facility access across the state are still in phase 3 of reopening, said Health Commissioner Lori Shipperton. The latest restrictive reopening phases allow for most flexibility in visitation policies at the facility. Schools in New Hampshire are getting more masks to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Governor Chris Sununu said. He said the federal government has made 300,000 masks available for New Hampshire schools and 200,000 have been distributed. New Hampshire restaurants required to collect patrons' contact information. Governor says information will be used to help COVID-19 contact tracing investigators. Customers of New Hampshire restaurants will soon be asked to provide basic contact information to help facilitate COVID-19 contact tracing investigations. Governor Chris Sununu said the requirement will begin Saturday. Customers will be asked for their name and phone number, and restaurants will record their time of arrival. Sununu said the information will help contact tracing teams if it's learned that someone in the restaurant has COVID-19. There have been several clusters of the coronavirus connected with New Hampshire restaurants, and state contact tracers tried to get in touch with everyone who was in the restaurant and might have had close contact with the cases at the time. In cases in which not everyone can be located, a public health alert will be issued to try to track down anyone else who might have been affected. Health officials said the new requirement could help avoid having to send out those public health alerts. That could mean that the public isn't informed as often about COVID-19 clusters connected with restaurants, but health officials said they work to contact everyone who needs to know about the cases so that they can isolate and get tested themselves. Sununu said the request to collect the information came from the New Hampshire Lodging and Restaurant Association, so he expects the industry to police itself in the following the new requirement. New Hampshire's drought status unchanged in latest report. Despite some rain, state officials see no relief from drought. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
So I'm going to hold on promoting you this quarter.
Drop the taco. Get in the car.
The latest drought map released Thursday morning is practically identical to the one the week before.
The change is very minimal.
That may be surprising considering how damp it's been this week, but it hasn't been what is needed to put a dent in the drought.
We've had long, steady drizzle, fog, light mist, those kinds of things, and not real rain.
And what rain is falling is having little effect on low groundwater level.
Most of the rain is coming in, and it's flowing off very quickly. Now, some is penetrating, but most of it, a lot of it, is flowing off.
What is going on at Lake Winnipesaukee is typical of what is happening around the state.
This shows the water level normally on an average year in red, how much precipitation we get. And then you can see down here how much we've actually got.
Stratford County and the surrounding areas are in an extreme drought and are the areas of greatest concern. But every county in the state has been impacted to a degree, so the state's launched an emergency drought assistance program to help homeowners dealing with a dry well.
To first get them bottled water, so at least they have water to drink and to cook with, and then begin to work towards potentially helping the lowest income families to deepen their wells.
And as officials look at the long-range forecast, it looks like there is little help on the horizon.
But we're now increasingly considering what a multi-year drought might look like. So we're studying the drought of 65, 64 to 66 was a multi-year drought. That was the last multi-year drought that the New Hampshire had.
The state is not anticipating any change in the drought map next week either. So that's why it's important, they stress, for everyone to continue to conserve water. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Another Trump rally not out of the question in closing days. Let's take a listen to that video right now. Another Trump rally not out of the question in closing days. State not on campaign's schedule, but still viewed as in play. New Hampshire may not have seen the last of President Donald Trump in this election season. There are many states in play, but we're told that depending on how the final internal polling goes, not only in New Hampshire, but in other key states, another appearance by the president is on the table. In closed elections, presidential campaigns routinely juggle their candidates' schedule for the final days of the campaign to go where there's a chance of picking up electoral votes. The view from the Trump campaign is New Hampshire is still in play, despite what the public polls are saying, and depending on how a few other states are leaning in the next few days, the Granite State may still be scheduled in. Meanwhile, there's silence from the Democratic side when inquiries are made about whether Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or maybe Barack Obama will make an 11-hour surprise visit to the Granite State. While anything can happen, we're told not to expect it. Surrogate visits continue this week with Senator Ed Markey scheduled to campaign on Friday and other proponent Biden supporters during the upcoming weekend. And that is it for this news report right here on the Riley King Network. I'm Riley King, reporting for the Riley King Network, and thank you for watching this news report. Goodbye, everyone. Okay, and there you go on that report. And that is it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast. Have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and goodbye, everyone.